we are starting to use Bitcoin as a tool in our businesses. Tomorrow, we introduce Bitcoin payments in our hotels.
It's the first revolution where you gain financial purchasing power with it.
If you buy a rental or buy a coffee or buy a holiday with Bitcoin, it's completely okay. And I'm also paying with Bitcoin whenever I can.
Do you think there's an active war on privacy right now?
Bitcoin is a nation state in the digital world.
Is there anything you don't like about Bitcoin? Is there anything that you are not satisfied with Bitcoin? Is there anything you're like, this aspect could be improved, or this aspect is like could be better off, or is it always like a trade-off because the bad things should be there because otherwise it's like
sure. When you study Bitcoin, you learn why is block time is important, why is 10 minutes important, why is energy important. So these are the main characteristics of Bitcoin, and it's really important. Maybe the NFTs on Bitcoin and runes are, I think, useless. Some stuff on good chain like Bitcoin is necessary. Like if we need an ID, I would like to be my ID on the best chain possible. If we tokenize whenever or house or car or something, I would like to be the best chain to be tokenized it. But I don't know how it is possible or is it gonna be. But runes think it's useless. But every other aspects of Bitcoin, I understand and I like it. It's okay.
Yeah, and I feel like you always have the oracle problem when you put something on the blockchain. Like who puts it on? Like who's the one that puts it on in the first place? This is the main thing. And you also put videos out online. I saw some. Unfortunately, most of them I don't understand because I don't speak your local language.
Yes.
But I saw some videos of you. And what did you did you motivated to do that? Like beyond Bitcoin, but also speaking about it online.
Yeah, sure. So I started using social media about more than a year now, and I usually upload videos about my life, about my business, about my perspectives on lives and businesses. I have multiple businesses. I have a construction company. We produce precast concrete elements, and I have 2 4-star hotels. We building residential buildings, flats. So a lot of things, and I have some point of view maybe interesting to other people or other businessmen in Hungary. I usually post in the morning when I get up and make some runnings at 3 a.m. run or 4 a.m. run, hashtag. Yeah, maybe you saw it or not, but I usually get up early. Not every day, but usually 2 or 3 or 4 times a week. I get up at 3 or 4 o'clock to run about 10 kilometers and just meditating my stuff, my thoughts, have a sauna after that. And I need that 2 or 3 hours to prepare the next day or something I would like to consider. And my best thoughts and best ideas come between 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. So it's an interesting one. A lot of people try to catch up me and follow my leadership about running and healthy life. I'm not an expert. I'm just an engineer, but I know that healthy life needs movement. You need to move your body. You need to use your body. And I would like to do it the most consistent way. If I would like to train in the afternoon, my family, my business work or other stuffs may be interrupted, and it wouldn't be possible. So the most uninterrupted day of my life is my morning. That's my decision to get up early or not. If my decision, I can do it if I want to it. So yeah, I'm trying like everybody else, and I speak about this topic with short videos, and I made a lot of videos about Bitcoin in the past half year. because a lot of folks talk to me in person that, Feri, what's this Bitcoin is about? How is it working? What will be the price? And I started to catch it up, this topic, because people interested in about it. I'm in the Bitcoin space from 2018, and I study Bitcoin and study charts and analytics and philosophy. I read books regularly every day. My kids always laugh at me when I am on charge and I would like to put something on the TV, and my child always talk to me like, "Okay, Daddy, but don't Bitcoin, please," because we are full of that. So I really usually listen to podcasts and Bitcoin related topics. So a lot of Hungarians had a language barrier. They don't really understand English, and if they understand English, they are not so familiar with the language to make decisions about it, how to invest their money. Hungarians had a lot of downside with investing in money. Hungarians don't really do this. Hungarians don't have such a wide range of investment philosophy like Western countries do. So a lot of people don't use trading in Hungary, don't invest in stock markets. They invest maybe sometimes in gold with jewelries, but they are really expensive. So a lot of my talks are about this, that Bitcoin is savings technology, a savings account. You can invest, you can trade it, you can have a lot of money with Bitcoin trading, like trading Nvidia stock or Facebook stock or MRST stock. But Bitcoin is a savings technology. You can use it as a savings technology.
100%.
And so I have a lot of videos about this.
I love it, and this is a great topic. Do you also integrate it in? You said you have multiple businesses. Do you integrate those as also on the balance sheet or in other ways?
Yes. Some things are ahead us. We are starting to use Bitcoin as a tool in our businesses. Tomorrow, at one day after the Pizza Day, we introduce Bitcoin payments in our hotels. One of our hotels at Miskolc, it's a 4-star hotel. We accept Bitcoin with Lightning. We have managed to talk about the lawyers and the accountant about it, and everything is fine. So we will accept Bitcoin in all hotels, and you can rent flats from us with Bitcoin in the later of the year. But that's my intention, that every businesses I have, they will invest 1% of their income to the balance sheet. We will buy Bitcoin, and we will hold that Bitcoin stack for 8 to 10 years.
That's a great mission, because when they hold it long term, they actually benefit the most. Like you have to hold at least 4 to 5 years to really get the advantages of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is nothing for short term. And you also mentioned the global Bitcoin Pizza Day, which is fascinating for me, that everybody is having pizza there. There are some restaurants even that if you mention Bitcoin, you get free pizza. Like there are a lot of interesting things happening around the world with Bitcoin Pizza Day, and I think the importance of Bitcoin Pizza Day is like just starting out now. But what is it for you? Like what is the importance for the Bitcoin Pizza Day, especially when we think of like how important is it to spend your Bitcoin for the global adoption?
Yeah, I think Marcus Seyr said, "Don't sell your Bitcoin," but he said also that use your Bitcoin when you want to. So I always encourage people to hold their Bitcoin stack, but maybe we can share to others. So spending Bitcoin like 1% or a fraction of a percent is fully okay. So if you buy a rental or buy a coffee or buy a holiday with Bitcoin, I think it's completely okay. And I'm also paying with Bitcoin whenever I can. So I order books with Bitcoin, and for example, I ordered coinized POS terminals, Bitcoin POS terminals with Bitcoin also. So I use it I try to use it as a daily life, and my kids' pocket money is also in Bitcoin. So my child, 7 and 14, are in 100% in Bitcoin.
Very
So
good.
their pocket money is in Bitcoin, and we make transactions between us in Lightning with Blink Wallet.
That's really cool. One thing on the company side, I'm curious about, because I see a lot of entrepreneurs and startup creators being in crypto, but not like especially in Bitcoin. Like there are a lot of this blockchain innovation, crypto tokenization, and all this stuff, which I think is kind of bullshit. But everybody has his own things. As I understand it, you are Bitcoin only. You also don't like the runes and the NFTs on top of Bitcoin. What made it click for you? Like, why did you didn't go the crypto route, and why did you focus on Bitcoin only? What was like Bitcoin? What made Bitcoin so attractive for you?
At the first year, some gut feeling about security. I don't at 2018 I didn't understand Bitcoin as well as now. And after I heard Michael Saylor's podcasts and other people's like Bitcoin Standard book, I read the Bitcoin Standard book, and I understand that how Bitcoin is safe. How can it be safe? And the other blockchains are not Bitcoin because of the starting of the blockchain. They are for profit or they are like some technology company. So Ethereum is fine, but it's not for money. I think it's technology company.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that you said also before that I'm still curious about, you said you're waking up early.
Yes.
And I'm also a big believer in waking up early, especially if, like, obviously there are different types of persons, but I think most people would benefit from waking up early. And
Yes.
I love it. I usually stand up 5, 6. I think like 3, 4 is very extreme, but it's still nice. You said 2 times a week, or I every day?
3 or 4 times a week, maybe.
And the rest
Sometimes
of you?
2, sometimes 4. Rest, it's 5 o'clock. You know, I'm an early person from my childhood, but I go to bed early as well. So my child has to wake up at just before 3 a.m. So sorry, my child have to get up at before 7 a.m. and they have to get some sleep. So we usually go to bed before 10 p.m. So between 10 p.m. and 3 or 4 a.m. I have maybe 5 or 6 hours to sleep, and I'm fine with it. I'm really good sleeper. So whenever I lean to a bed or something, I can sleep instantly.
I love it. It's really important. I mean, it's important to get the sleep in, but if you're a good sleeper, 6 hours could be enough. I tend to like get to 7, 8 hours. Like I try to like get from 10 to 6 a.m. Like I try to also get in the bed at 10, but I usually stand up at 6. Sometimes 5. I really like 5, but it's hard for me because then it gets late and then I'm not that productive. I really feel it like if I have only 7 or 6.5 hours, like I see that my productivity levels and my conscious level is just not as good. But yeah, there's rarely a day where I wake up after 7. Like this is really rare, and 6 is like just the standard now. I love it. I love it.
If I don't set up any alarms, you know, I get up at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock with alarm on my wrist, my Apple Watch. But if I didn't set up any alarms, I usually wake up before 5 a.m. So it's natural to me.
Wow. Yeah. You probably do it a long time already, right?
Yes. 6 years, almost 6 years.
Very cool, very cool. But let's come back to the Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
But I just love the topic also of
It's
waking
okay.
up early. What is, we always say like Bitcoin fixes this, Bitcoin fixes that. What is the most important thing you think that Bitcoin fixes? Like what is the main thing that Bitcoin is for?
Yeah. I believe the main thing is store of value. So if you don't have the store of value function, that money don't really bother anybody. So Bitcoin solves the store of value, and layer 2, like Lightning Network, is solves the money function. So I'm really interested in and enthusiastic about that fact that Bitcoin can be helpful all of the people in the globe. So the people in poverty, the people in the middle, and people with high income, they uses the same tool, the Bitcoin, to navigate through the world, this old economic and money structure what we are put in the later dynasties, or I don't know. So Bitcoin is help for a lot of people, almost every people, I think.
Why do you think there's no more companies having Bitcoin? Like that, I feel like it's almost irresponsible for a company that makes profits and has cash reserves do not at least put some portion of that in Bitcoin, at least the part of it which they don't need operationally for the next few months. And there are a lot of businesses that have that. Like, why do you think they still don't do it?
So personal experience is very important. As I am an entrepreneur and I leading my businesses, so I'm the CEO, I'm in charge, and I know from the first hand that I just want to accept Bitcoin in my hotels, and that needs some months to arrange to get everything checked, because as a company you couldn't fail, because the authorities will come after you. If you are a person, you can do whatever you want to do. Nobody's bothered that you hold Bitcoin in your pocket. But as a company, a lot of authorities are watching you. So you need extra caution. And a lot of people are working in a company, lawyers, accountants. So you have to convince them that it's possible, because they didn't hear about this. So as Michael Saylor said, that if a CEO knows Bitcoin is good and Bitcoin is a great investment, maybe that's not nearly enough to have the company on a Bitcoin standard, or to invest it, because a lot of people need to be educated. So I think that's the reason.
Yeah, and there's this. I believe that then in the adoption curve, when we hit a certain point, we could hit that point where all of a sudden it goes really parabolic. And because, as you said, like when the only person is the CEO, he could have a hard time pushing through with so many other interests in the company. But if there's like half of the company already like is kind of in a Bitcoin mindset, it's easier for him. So the faster we go and the faster we educate, it gets easier and easier over time. And that's why I think we are still really, really early on, which is also a really interesting thing. You said you do a lot of Lightning transactions with the kids and play around with that. It's fascinating.
Yes.
Is Lightning for you the future of payments? Is that like, how do you see the scaling of Bitcoin?
Layer 2 Bitcoin is I think the solution for money. Whether it's liquid or Lightning or Feri or whatever technology is, I'm not an IT perspective guy. So maybe some guy said that Lightning cannot be or has some issues about global scaling, billion people global scaling. I don't know. Right now, Lightning Network solves my pocket money for my children. They got 10,000 satoshis every week. And if they wanted to buy something, if they want to buy something, they ask me, I pay with fiat, but they transact me the equivalent value to my Lightning wallet, so we can transact with each other. And they every time they know how much pocket money they have, and they have possessed it every time because their phones are with them always.
If you are listening to this podcast, you might be wondering what is actually the setup look like of Robin, or how can I improve my Bitcoin setup? And there's two things. You have to buy Bitcoin from the right source and you have to store Bitcoin the right way. Let's focus on the first thing. How to buy Bitcoin. It's simple. Have a Bitcoin only exchange. Don't deal with the shitcoin exchanges. Don't deal with an exchange that has an own token or something like that. Be on a Bitcoin only exchange. I use 21 Bitcoin. 21 Bitcoin is for me the best partner for that. And now, where do you store Bitcoin? Bitcoin should be stored on a hardware wallet, on a self-custody solution where you yourself hold your keys, and it should be a cold wallet. So that's my simple solutions. That's a BitBox. You just put your Bitcoin on there, back up your seed phrase, and you are better than 95% of all Bitcoin hodlers. If you have more than 1,000 euros in Bitcoin, it's an absolutely must have. One last thing before we get back to the video. I'm really passionate about meeting other Bitcoiners. And there's an amazing opportunity in middle of Europe in June, the Bitcoin Prague conference. It's the best and biggest Bitcoin-only conference in whole of Europe. For all Americans, please visit Europe and visit this place in June. For all Europes, it's a must-go anyways. You are so close to the Bitcoin Prague conference, you basically have to come. I will do interviews there, and I would love to meet you all there. Use code ROBIN for all my sponsors to get discounts, and use the links down in the description. I love it. And we always have this, like when we have layer 2 solutions and layer 3 solutions, we're always going away from the main chain. And there are a lot of people like fearful that there might be attacks on layer 2, layer 3, that it get captured. Maybe even like in some sense, the Bitcoin ETF is a layer 2 solution in some sense. Do you still feel there could be an attack or and try to out-ban it or outlaw it or something like that? I mean, we have it since 2013.
Like, you mean the Bitcoin whole ecosystem outlawed, or some other transaction types?
Any attacks actually, because there's like the Bitcoin ETFs that could be captured with the holdings. They could try some things. There's layer 2 solutions that could do something. There can be a lot of attack vectors. I'm just wondering, are we already in the stage where the state and the governments are joining us, or are we still in the state where they kind of want to get rid of Bitcoin because then they don't have control over the money?
I see. Yes. I think the ETFs has a high possibility that they be confiscated and get dollars and not bitcoins from your investment. But ETFs, it's a dollar to dollar investment, so they use this Bitcoin as a car or a device to earn more dollars. So the best investment is, I think, to buy Bitcoin and hold it for a longer time. And the most secure way to hold your Bitcoin and hardware wallets and cold wallets. Lightning, I don't really mind about Lightning security as an ecosystem. Maybe they are stopped or not, because I don't store it too much wealth there. Some money for the holiday, or buy coffee or buy something, and I always have the option to transact my Lightning wallet on chain if I needed it. So I think it's just a pocket money for people, the Lightning, but it's fast and you can use it now. It's not a future product. It's done. You can use it. We use it at the hotel right now, so it's a good thing. what you regard about the nation states, I think we are at the brink of the start of the collusion and maybe those voters what are really hard for nation state, because they are trying to stop it or start it or engage it or forbidden it. I don't know what will be the future holds, but the internet structure is decentralized. So if in the U.S. states the U.S. government closes or bans the money transmitters, like we saw it in the past few months, they just go into another state, another jurisdiction where it's acceptable, and U.S. residents can connect that Bitcoin Lightning or Bitcoin aggregator. So I think it's not a problem. It's just that it's not convenience to use VPNs or other stuff, but you can manage it.
It's also interesting to think about the whole game theory aspect of it, because even if some country bans it, there might be another country that accepts
yes.
it. We have already El Salvador that is really, really, really friendly to Bitcoin. We have Swiss that is quite friendly, even with Lugano in the city. We have other states, we have other small cities and places where there are a lot of Bitcoin adoption and Bitcoin-friendly environment. So if the other states are like, we don't like Bitcoin, we want to ban it, the capital will just flow to the other countries.
Yes.
How is it in Hungary, actually? Like I know from Austria that it's not really a topic till now. Like there is some adoption going on, not a lot of things happening. I mean, the German-speaking community is quite strong, actually, but how do you see in Hungary the adoption? Is it good?
I think adoption will be starting from this year. I talked to a lot of high business person, not local businesses, but million euros business persons, and they know Bitcoin. They try to understand Bitcoin. I talk to them, and they would like to transact this as well. So one of my partners asked me, "Hey Feri, when we can get when do you want to buy steel rebars from me with Bitcoin?" And I, in the late of the year, maybe we can do it. So people are trying to catching up. On the politics side, on the nation state level, Hungarians are really busy with the politics, the inner politics and the Eurozone politics, and they don't really bother about Bitcoin, and our politicians are just bragging each other. Sometimes I think they don't really care about getting the state, getting Hungary more fruitful or more better place, just getting into position. So Hungarian laws are really good. We have 15% personal tax about if you sell your Bitcoin, but just the only way they tax it. So if you hold Bitcoin, you won't be taxed. And 50% is not a high value for gains, only for gains. For companies and business side, they have similar the same account as a stock, if you hold a stock. So it's not a problem. I think so. It's natural. The countries don't really bother about Bitcoin. People may be trying to catch up.
Yeah, it's a bummer that in Austria, in Hungary, in the EU, Bitcoin is not really a topic till now. Like in the elections, even now in America, already the topics is crypto. Like Trump is accepting Bitcoin payments and stuff like that. Like in America, it seems like they're a little further down the road. Also with Robert Kennedy Jr. Having a run in the elections, and he's like in the Bitcoin conferences, he's talking about Bitcoin really openly, which is it's just a positive sign that politicians are talking about Bitcoin. Like, I really don't care about their politics, but I like that it's a topic that they have to come up with opinions, and they have to come up with the debates on what they are saying, and they cannot no longer ignore it. That's a really cool part. In Austria, I actually listened today and yesterday to some election debates of the lead candidates. And there was one guy who said it's bad that the EU is so inflationary and they want to go back to like a hard asset, but they were talking about the old Austrian currency, not Bitcoin. So I don't know what to think about that. That was the closest thing that someone mentioned hard money and the real problem. But
Yes.
nobody really addresses Bitcoin. So it's interesting how this will go. Also, I'm really young, I'm 25, and when I got Bitcoin, it was like 4 years ago. So my knowledge about money and economics was building with Bitcoin already, because with 21, 20, you don't know a lot about economics and money. With you, how old were you when you got Bitcoin?
Well, 32.
Oh yeah, and so you already had like a few years, like 10 years, 15 years in business and a career that you already come up with a mind about money. Did you were before in this like fiat mindset? Did Bitcoin like change you to Austrian economics, to hard money, or did you already had this before?
No, it's changed me a lot. I don't really know anything about investment or money. I'm an engineer, and I always love statistics, numbers, and other things. And I don't really care about investment because my father started this company, so he was in charge. But after the year passed, I slowly come in charge, and Bitcoin come to my way, and I learn about stock to flow in housing markets, because this market has a special stock to flow philosophy, and nobody learned about money, I think, before Bitcoin, because money, it's like paper money or money on the bank account. But what really is money? It's a revelation for me. So it changed my mind, how I see the geopolitical place, and the people, how people and the population organizes itself through money. So it's just a language, and I didn't heard it before. So it's really good to know these things. And I always start with my lectures and speaks that what is money, how humanity uses money in the early of the history, and what forms of money did we use, what is money now. There is no goal behind any fiat currency. When does it happen? Bretton Woods and 1971 Nixon thing, and people, I think, and I see the people's faces, and I see that they didn't really heard about before that. People in businesses, people with people who are using money as a tool to make businesses. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's also interesting to see when people come into Bitcoin, they get introduced to whole other topics also, like privacy, freedom. It's fascinating for me. Physics, yes. Why did you say physics?
Because Satoshi Nakamoto solved it to get the energy and atoms to attach to the digital world. It's a really hard concept. So and I always talked and I always said my lectures and talk to people like this, because that's a really important thing, that in math there is no time. There is no past, future, and present, just only math, and it's present every time. The whole universe, the whole maths, the zeros, the every value. But in our time, it's moving with energy and with atoms, and Satoshi linked together the two. So that's proof of work mechanism.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Also, the privacy and freedom aspect, I feel like influences a lot of Bitcoiners or like people that come into Bitcoin. How did Bitcoin like change your view on other topics as well?
Privacy is, I always laugh about them, laugh about myself when it's come about privacy, because I'm as a business person and I use my face and my connections to change the world. So, and I don't have so much privacy as other private person can be. So, a private person can be private. I am, as I am a business people, as a businessman, I uses my voice and my face to the world. So I don't really bother about privacy. I bother, but not so hard that I don't use my face or my real name in the internet. A lot of people uses nicknames. I use my personal name.
Yeah.
As well. So privacy, it's a good thing, but it doesn't bother me as much as other people, and I get it. It's okay. Just it's not a topic for me.
Yeah. Do you still think like I'm the same way, because I have a daily podcast. I talk every day about different stuff. There's my clear name there. There's my face there. So I pretty much have no privacy with what I think about that, because it's every day. But do you feel like there is kind of a war against those, against freedom, against privacy, especially you're also in the European Union, where a lot of things are happening, where they try to look into messaging apps because they want to fight terrorists and stuff like that. Do you think there's an active war on privacy right now?
Yeah, sure. I think we are at the war of privacy in the EU and in the US as well, and and I don't really like it. So a lot of nonsense things and legislation comes with the EU from Brussels. So I don't really understand why they are doing this. Maybe it's just not a coincidence. They are not so foolish. They do it with intent. So unfortunately, but Bitcoin can help us, because it's a peaceful revolution. If you buy Bitcoin, you pay, you have a vote with your money to freedom.
And the fascinating thing is, it's the first revolution where you gain financial purchasing power with it. Usually in a revolution, when you're actually participating in a revolution, you have to pay for that. You have to really suffer for that. But in Bitcoin, it's a peaceful and revolution that actually gives you a lot of power in the long run. If you're participating in Bitcoin, in the revolution of Bitcoin since 10 years, and you actually hodl Bitcoin for 10 years, you are doing really great. You could not even do bad financially. It's a fascinating thing to think about.
I think we are making history. I always tell my folks that if you buy Bitcoin, you are making history. 20 years from now, when you talk to your daughter or grandson, they will point at you that, granddaddy, you bought Bitcoin in 2014, 2024 or something. So we are making history, I think, and the good side, because it's good for humanity, good for people, good for nation state as well. But we will have a hard road, I think. Maybe nations will have a hard road to ride. But Bitcoin is truth, and I think truth is really important in life, because you can lie about anything for yourself as well. But the nature, the reality is really important, and Bitcoin shows the real world reality.
It also humbles all the persons, the bad actors, and what you said with making history is really interesting. When you now look maybe at your grandkids, and they have like some school lessons or some lessons about the area where their granddad, so like you was in. How do you think they will look back at Bitcoin? Like, how do you think people in 100, 200, 300 years will look back at that area with Bitcoin?
I think they will look us like we look back when those people who went to Europe, to America, to establish the United States. I think Bitcoin is. I am familiar with it, and I like the idea that Bitcoin is a nation state in the metaverse or in the digital world. So we are really everybody an entrepreneur in Bitcoin world. So we are making history right now.
Do you also think that Bitcoin changes how nation states work? Because when we take with Bitcoin away the money printer, and we have Bitcoin as like the store of value, it's like the unit of account, it's medium of exchange, is everything. How will this then impact society if there is no central force on money, no monopoly on violence, no monopoly on the money printer?
Yes, and I think reality will come into their faces who are not productive enough, who are waiting for government money, who has political power and have money like this. So the reality will show its faces. So Bitcoin will conquer every other fiat currencies. Maybe a lot of nation states will have fiat currencies for 100 years, but they will always be broke. Maybe it's just a monopoly money. And the first mover's advantage will be really important as a nation state also.
Really, really cool. Loved it. Before we come to the end routine of our podcast, I would love to get something before in. What are you currently passionate about, which we did not cover in the podcast? Like, what are you currently learning and deeply researching? Because I feel like Bitcoiners are extremely interesting people, and they have a lot of interest, a lot of knowledge on topics that not directly are associated with Bitcoin. Is there anything that you're currently really passionate about, really learning about?
Yeah, I have my own calculations. Don't trust, verify, and and everybody told you that Bitcoin is a really good investment. You have 100% gains in every year. But I'm a numbers guy. I'm an engineer, so I get myself and downloaded from Yahoo Finance the weekly Bitcoin closes, and I have a question for you. What do you think if you started to invest 10 euros every week in the past 10 years from 2014, you put away 2,200 euros approximately. But what do you think was the buying power of that Bitcoin after 10 years? So every week you just buy 10 euros of Bitcoin. You have 5,000 euro investment. What do you think the buying power today now? Without calculations, just the gut feeling. What's your gut feeling?
That has to be a big number.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I would say, in the hundreds of millions.
No, not really. just 10 euros per week. Nothing, not just 10 euros. Every week.
Maybe
to buy in.
Maybe 1 million to 10 million?
No, it's 300,040 euros. So it's more than 300,000 euros. But imagine that when I talk to people, ordinary people who don't have investments in the real world because they don't have enough money to buy a stock or buy some gold, because they have only 10 euros per week. And I tell them, listen to me, guys. In the last 10 years, it works like this. If you put away 10 euros and buy Bitcoin, you have more than 300,000 euros. That's a whole game changer for an average man. They can buy a house, or they can start a business or something. So, and a lot of people, the average people, will average people just buy 10 euros for cheap or meaningless things. Buy a lotto, buy a lottery ticket or something, which it's useless. But I'm really passionate about this, and I use this, and I started to make more interesting calculations. That what if I also examined quarterly segments. I calculated returns if the investment started in 9.5 years or 9 years and 8.5 years and something, and I found that the compounded average growth rate ranged from minimum of 26% every year to an average to 49%, and the highest was about more than 100% average compounded growth. And I have made it in the Excel sheets, and I will make some videos about it because I think it's really, really interesting, and it's really revealing that I think Bitcoin is really good for an account for investments in the future. So it's a lot of people don't really. A lot of people think Bitcoin. If you have Bitcoin, you have to trade it. You have to sell it sometime. But I always talk to people like, just buy 10 euros or buy 100 euros a month or something. You will, and you will find it 10 years from now, 20x or 30x more.
Yeah, I completely.
So I'm interested in it.
I completely underrated the price in 2014. I just look at it. It was also $800, $500, depending on what time you pick in 2014. I thought it's way cheaper. I thought like you could get
weekly 10 euros would buy you almost 4 Bitcoins.
Oh yeah,
10 euros weekly, 10 euros, and you wouldn't buy, you couldn't buy 10 euros. You can buy, I'm sorry. So, 10 euros won't buy you 4 Bitcoins in the next 10 years, but it's not a problem. It's about how much your buying power out of that 10 euros, what you separate it from this day and for the future 10 years.
Yeah, a lot of people underestimate how much a Bitcoin is. When you really think of like, there's only 21 million, there will be a portion left that is always in some wallets that don't want to spend or maybe want to die with their Bitcoin. There will always be some lost. There will always be the stack of Satoshi Nakamoto. So maybe there's like 10 to 15 million Bitcoin that are actually movable. Those numbers can vary. And then you put that on top of like a growing population of almost 8 billion people already, where there are a lot of people that have thousands of Bitcoins. So when you look at it, like one Bitcoin, you will be in the top 1% of the world when Bitcoin is actually fully adopted and the main store of value on unit of account. Even like 0.1 Bitcoin will put you high up there, depending on the time frame. Of course, 0.1 Bitcoin will not help you next year, but in 10, 20 years, it's a whole different story.
We'll count it in Satoshis. My kids are trying to calculate like this, 10,000 Satoshis every week. So we are calculating in Satoshis already now.
That's really, really cool. I think we even need something below Satoshis at some point because Satoshis are too high, I guess.
Layer 2s, Layer 3 will solve it. Millisatoshis or something like this. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah, really cool. Thank you. Then now we can come to the end routine of our podcast, which is the previous guest is asking a question for the next guest without knowing who the next guest actually is. And your question from the previous guest is, what part of your life has Bitcoin changed the most?
Maybe proof of work is a really good idea because it comes up every part of my life. Proof of work like waking up early, doing exercises, proof of work in business to build a company with with good people, good relationships, doing great things. This is proof of work. I think nature is working with proof of work, and I didn't really realize it before Bitcoin, before understanding Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's proof of work is a big one. Like if you put in the proof of work every day, you're putting something in there, you will get something out if this what you're doing is makes sense. I love the concept of proof of work. You can really see like who's in their life a proof of stake kind of guy and who's a proof of work kind of guy. You really see that. Thank you, Feri, for being on. It was a pleasure talking with you. Is there anything you want to add to the podcast? And second question, where can people find you the best way if they want to reach out to you and ask you questions?
Yeah, thank you much. Nothing to add, and I'm sorry I'm not really fluently in English, but I'm trying. You can find me on X, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, usually Kovács, and if I can help anybody, just send me a DM, and I really appreciate to talk to everybody about Bitcoin.
I love it, and your English is good. Mine is also a little bit clunky. Sometimes I miss words. Sometimes I don't have to real words.
Maybe something I can add. I'm organizing a Bitcoin conference, Bitcoin only conference at this year at October 2018 to 20, and we will have mainly Hungarian people, the locals, and folks around the country, but it will be free. Every talks and every venues what I held about Bitcoin is free, completely free, and we are just trying to organize it. And I hope some international Bitcoiners maybe come to our venue. I contacted with Knut, and he said if he don't have other programs, we are the plan B, as he said. So maybe he can come, but other people will be contacted as well. A lot of people in the Hungarian 21 group will be make keynotes on my conference, Bitcoin on the conference. So we will have more information in the next months or so.
Is it in the Hungarian language or is it English?
Mainly Hungarian language, because if you want to educate yourself from the internationals, you can watch your podcasts and go to Bitcoin Prague. I will be there and in Bitcoin Prague also. But Hungarians has a language barrier, so our community needs Hungarian voice and live voice. So that's why I organize conference and talks and speeches in our local communities.
I love it. And I just looked at my statistics. There are 0.1% of my viewers are from Hungary. so there are some people out there that are watching now and are from Hungary. So please go to the conference. It will be, I guess it will be really great. If I would know Hungarian, I learned a little bit Hungarian because I had an Hungarian girlfriend 5 years ago, or like 6 years ago even. But I forgot everything, unfortunately. But there was a time in my life where I learned a little bit.
It's a hard language.
Definitely. Then thank you, Feri, for being on, and for everyone watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Robin. Bye.